If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Always bringing sunshine is Tom Roberts, CEO of the Greater Coosa Valley Area Chamber of Commerce. And man, we're glad to see some sunshine, aren't we?
Well, absolutely. But that part about me always bringing sunshine, I think that's what Donald Trump would call fake news.
Well,
but
you know, we'll spread it every once in a while.
You're being positive.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
A lot of busy times in Childersburg, Alabama.
Yes, sir. And I got a big sigh of relief this morning. I'll pass that on in just a minute. But a few other things today. Wednesday, 3:30 to 5 o'clock at the Limbaugh Community Center. We've got a very, very special visitor arranged by Tava Gillum Lee. She has done this to benefit the after-school kids. She's opening it up to the public. St. Nicholas is going to be with us this afternoon, so that's a biggie right there.
He's busy too.
Oh, absolutely. Then tomorrow, the big day, we have an open house at Cadence Bank from 9 till 2, and then the big event. The meteorologists have all gotten on our side. I sent a lot of nasty emails out last night, and they responded this morning by moving the chance of rain and cold back to after midnight. So we're looking very, very good. Single-digit chance of precipitation during parade time. That's always a good thing. The temperature should be 50, 55, just a little nip in the air. And we've got a big parade, a lot of fun things that are going to be a part of the parade. And that's been a trend this year. Lincoln, Talladega, Sylacauga, especially Talladega. Wow, what a parade this year. Sylacauga did a wonderful job, not getting giving them anything, but Talladega went way overboard. There were some folks at the front of the parade that were already home in their jammies before the parade ended. That's how big it was. A lot of units. Yeah, so, and we've got a big one as well. We're a little bit limited in that we make a loop, and you got to get the back end of the parade into the downtown area before the front end matches it up under the viaduct. But we've got 4 high school bands. We've got well over 24 floats, some professional floats, a lot of amateur floats, a lot of beauty queens, a lot of other things. It's going to be a fun night in Childersburg. Next week, we get right back to it on Tuesday from 11 until 1 o'clock. We're going to be hosting, and you're invited, come by for some lunch. At the Chamber of Commerce, we're going to have our holiday open house, and I don't have to do all the fixing and preparing because we got to do business downtown, in case you hadn't heard. Cup of Grace and their sandwiches. Jennifer's going to load us up with a couple of sampler platters of what she has to offer, and so we're excited about that. We've got several get you in the spirit of things for the right reasons, songs of the season, sponsored by the Hickory Street Cafe from Coosa Valley Medical Center. It's going to be coming up on Friday, December 14th, and of course the refreshments are at about 10:30. The program starts at 11:45, so an exciting time, and that's going to be Steve, Rocky, and the
They got a good sound.
Yeah, they do. The Spring Street 4. It's a little bit sad. This is a year we're going to be without Chris Phillips, but I believe the 4 of these plus Robin Lewis on the piano. I think that'll be great. Then on Saturday, we have in Childersburg at Grace Baptist Church. It's sponsored by the Childersburg Park and Recreation Department. They used to actually host it instead of just sponsor it. But the acoustics aren't the greatest at the rec center, and they just ran out of room, and Grace Baptist Church has taken over the actual hosting of that. That's doors open at 5:30 this Saturday. For the reason for the season, we've got about a dozen or so different churches and groups that are going to be performing there. And there is an admission cost. Got to bring a canned good or some boxed goods, something for Alabama Childhood Food Solutions. A great time for a great cause. So a lot of fun things going on between now and getting ready for Christmas, and still trying to be good to stay on Santa Claus's good list.
You best. Tom Roberts, Greater Coosa Valley Area Chamber of Commerce, our guests this morning. Getting back to the parade, let's get into that more in depth as to who the Grand Marshal is and who all's going to be involved in it.
Every year, our Grand Marshal is the past spring's inductee into the Childersburg Hall of Fame, and this time I'm so thrilled. He is so excited about coming, and it's former City Council member, former Talladega County Commissioner Jimmy Robertson, and he had a tough time a few years ago. He and B.J. Meeks both found out about their cancer diagnosis about the same time. Well, Jimmy trudged through his, and he's still around, and he played a big part in so many things. A true public servant, and he is truly excited. I think I talked to him 2 or 3 times a week over the last month or so, because he wants to make sure everything is just right for that, because he appreciates his home turf in Childersburg, and I think he is as good a recipient of the Hall of Fame honors as anybody we've ever had, and he's excited to be there.
The theme for the parade and the time it starts.
Okay, the downtown decoration was a little bit of nostalgia, and they called it "I'll Be Home for Christmas," so we just played right along, and that's our particular theme, though. We're not making as big a deal this year out of matching the theme as far as the competition for the best amateur floats is going to be. I have seen some photographs of some of the entries we have, and I think wow is going to put it. One of them particularly is going to be a very patriotic theme, others nostalgia. It's going to be a grand time, and I'm getting excited. You always, when you're in charge, you're always a little bit worried, especially when the weatherman may or may not cooperate with you. But getting that news this morning, I scared my family half to death this morning, whooping it up when I saw that forecast, and a 6% chance of precipitation during the parade isn't bad at all, and it does jump up to about 70%, but not until after 11 o'clock, most of it after midnight. So we're excited about that possibility.
I was in Childersburg just a few days ago.
We smelled you.
Downtown Childersburg.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, my smell follows me, that's for sure. But beautiful decorations in the storefronts downtown.
Our First Lady, Tricia Wesson, she doesn't like to take a lot of the attention, but she deserves it, because without her organization skills and her motivation, we've gotten so many people that have stepped up to be a part of that process, and it just takes it to another level. In fact, it created a little bit of controversy because we are in the process, the city is, of getting the deed from the state for the old 5 and Dime building, and somebody decided to do a little throwback Thursday on it and put the Emory 5 and Dime in the window, and so many folks thought, they're coming back. No, it's just decorations. But we do have some fantastic things coming for downtown Childersburg, but Emory's 5 and Dime coming back to life is not one
Not
of
yet,
them.
huh? One of the events in Childersburg has faced some obstacles as far as rain and some flooding over there with one of the Christmas. I think it's in its 2nd year now.
Yes, Christmas in the Pines, and they did have to cancel this past Sunday, and the weather forecast for the weekend itself isn't the greatest in the world, but before or after the parade, you can go out there Thursday night. It promises to be okay, and then they'll be there nightly all the way through the 23rd. So you're going to have the opportunity. I'm going to pick my best night and go out, but I've heard a lot of rave reviews. They've stepped it up again this year, but none of us is in charge of the weather, and we want this to be a big success, because with the Christmas decoration, with the enormity of the tree lighting ceremony and the other festivities with Santa Claus in the park and honoring some special segment of society on that night, plus the Christmas parade, we're becoming pretty well known as kind of a Christmasburg instead of Childersburg, if you will, and that's a big part of it, because it adds just a little bit more allure to bringing folks to town, and we have pretty good traffic there at night now, because people want to come see the pretty lights and the great decorations and things like that. It's an exciting time to time of the year to be in Childersburg.
Quite a bit of hiring going on in the Childersburg area, too.
Oh, absolutely. We found out last week Material Systems Incorporated is moving lock, stock, and barrel their 4 operations into one. At the old Marathon building in Childersburg. They're going to be bringing all their folks with them, and they will be hiring some other folks as well. So I know that business is booming. We've got a couple of other new businesses coming right after the first of the year, still on the hunt for a new grocery store and facilities to host that.
Do you see light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, with a grocery store?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. In fact, we just have to be a little bit on the patient side, because we're asking people to invest millions of dollars in facilities and stock and everything. And we have to, like right now, the biggest obstacle we have is the fact that Winn-Dixie has an active lease, and they're
How long
paying
is that
on it.
lease, by the way? You know?
It's got a little ways to go, but it could come to a halt at any moment because of some legality things. So we just have to be patient. But that's hardly the only thing. I know that there have been a couple of serious discussions about other entities coming to town with that, or close to town. And it's frustrating from my point of view. You know me, I'm a let's tell everybody about it and get excited about it kind of guy, but in this position, sometimes you have to be a little bit more patient, and I promise you, you are going to be absolutely pleased with not one, but probably 2 and maybe even 3 opportunities for something that's really up there. And that's a big thing. And little by little, we're taking positive steps down the road. They've cleared the lot. They've laid the foundation, started to build the new O'Reilly's. There's some folks just a couple of doors down from them that are going to be building a new restaurant and turning their current restaurant into a smaller grocery store of Hispanic variety. So we're excited about all the different possibilities. And once all that Highway 280 road work is done and in the books, you're going to see a big push, because there are all sorts of business folk that are laying claim to certain pieces of property and getting ready to build. So we're going to see a big boom. But in the meantime, slow down. Don't be in a hurry. The traffic problems are going to get worse as we get more traffic, and the changes.
When do you
to
see
the
that
roadway.
change, that shift coming? that you've
It's
been talking
really
about?
hard to say. The weather has affected it some. The holiday season has affected it some. I was hoping we'd get that part of it done in October, November. Didn't happen, so it'll probably be after the first of the year. But it's going to be momentous, and it's going to make for some pretty big changes. And we're going to have to struggle a little bit to find our way off of Highway 280, across 280, and then you've got, after the bridge work is completely done, then you've got all those crossovers they'll be dealing with. So it's going to linger on for about 6 to 9 months at least with the bridge, and beyond that with the other roadways. But it's going to be so much better when it's done, and it's going to open the door for a lot of new development.
And finally, this morning, Tom Roberts, our guest, the Greater Coosa Valley Area Chamber of Commerce. A couple of things that you've already touched on, but kind of recap what's going to be going on the next day or two in Childersburg.
Today, Santa Claus at the Rec this afternoon, 3:30 to 5. We've got an open house at Cadence Bank on 280 tomorrow, the Christmas parade tomorrow night, Friday night over here in Sylacauga at Baby Comer Memorial Library. I just noticed we didn't tell them where it was going to happen. The Songs of the Season from the Spring Street 4, and Saturday night from the Grace Baptist Church, about a dozen different churches with a reason for the season. Bring those canned goods for Alabama Childhood Food Solutions. Next Tuesday, we're going to be hosting our chamber open house with a few sampler platters from Cup of Grace Cafe and Coffee. So that's just the next week, and we're not going to slow down there. We still have Christmas itself and a lot of business opportunities.
All right, Tom Roberts, our guest this morning from Greater Coosa Valley Area Chamber of Commerce. Tom, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming. Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
More Daybreak just ahead.